right, everyone. Welcome to the stream, guys. You're watching Rome Knows Tech, and I'm your host, Rome Wilkerson. Guys, I'm coming from the city of Houston, down here in the ever so hot state of Texas. Yeah! I want to welcome you one and all. I see Renee's in the house. I see my man Alan DeBay is in the house. The lovely Terry's in the house. All right, guys, we got a lot to get to tonight, this evening. We got some tech. We got some cool stuff. I plan on even doing a demo for you guys on the new drone simulator. So hopefully we can get that set up tonight, and I'll be able to show you guys how that rock and roll. All right, so let me go back here real quick and see who was the first person in the chat tonight. Looks like it was Renee. Renee was number one in the chat tonight, so that means Renee gets to choose what I shall create with our laser tonight. Renee, what do you have on your mind? What will tickle your pickle? What would you like Rome to create on your behalf tonight? Let us know. We got all these lasers ready to rock and roll. But I also noticed that my camera is dirty. So I'm going to have to fix that real quick. Y'all just talk amongst yourselves. I got to fix this camera real quick. I can see that the phone lens is dirty. So let me get this fingerprint off of this phone, so you guys won't have any excuses. None. Sometimes I tell people that I'm going to jog a few miles, but I never do. It's my running joke. Alan's just too funny, y'all. If y'all don't know who Alan DeBay is, I don't know what you are doing with your lives. Hold on, y'all. Let me get this camera set up real quick here. All right, let's get it. All right, we're good. Okay. Alan DeBay is already dropping them dad jokes down in the comments. You guys, even if you're not over here on Amazon, you should be able to see it over here on the text, or down here on the text. So check it out. You guys are welcome to comment on whatever platform you're on. I see Hope is already commenting over on YouTube. Welcome, Hope. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully Hope will be able to join us over here on Amazon pretty soon. All right, so what we got going on, Renee? What are we making? Somewhat medium. What are we talking about? Howdy doody. Renee, what are we making? Renee, are you paying attention? Can you even hear me, Renee? We need to make something tonight. I am out of our yellow acrylic, okay? We have made everything we can make with this yellow acrylic. We made this cute little frog. Let me go to our top down real quick here. We made this cute little frog right here for Holy Chat. And an angel. I think the angel was for Terry. I know this puffin was for Terry, so we did that as well for Terry. And I don't remember who the owl was for, but Terry's usually the first person in the stream every night, so it's a good chance that was for Terry as well. We're not going to talk about who this is, but y'all know, if we say his name 3 times, he will appear. If we say his name 3 times, he will appear. So nobody say his name, please. I don't need the smoke tonight. I do not need the smoke. All right. So, Renee, what shall we create tonight? I got a little bit of acrylic left. We might be able to squeeze something out a couple of these areas here. I was talking to a rep earlier today. We're on a conference call, a Zoom call from Xtool, and they got some big stuff going on, y'all, coming up. Let me see. Will these? I don't know if this orange worked last time. I don't think the orange worked. We have some acrylic that Renee donated to us, guys. So we can try some of this acrylic. What do we have here? We have this blue that I'm not sure if it's going to work at all. So we could do a little test cut on this just to see if it will cut this. Yeah, we could do that. Let's do that. Let's see let's see if it'll even cut this blue acrylic. So let's start with that. All right, let's switch over to our iPhone. Now we have a lighter color blue as well. So first, let's see if it'll cut this blue. So let me tilt the camera down so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Turn down the lights. If you know who that is, let me know down in the comments.
Turn down the lights and light a candle. If you know who that artist is, drop it down in the comments.
It will definitely show your age if you know who that is. All right, so let me open the laser. the voice from Murder Party. Alan said it's the voice from Murder Party. No, Alan, it is not. It is not. At least that's not what I was trying to go for. So that might be what you perceive from it. But it's a very famous melanated music artist, R&B artist from back in the day. So I may not have anybody in the comments tonight who might know who that is. But if you know who that is that sings that song, yeah, go ahead and drop it. Drop it down in the comments. All right, so let's see if we can test this blue acrylic. We're just going to see if we can cut us a little square out of it. So let's pop over to the desktop here real quick. All right, let's make sure our laser is connected. Is it connected? Nope. Let's connect it. Xtool needs to send me the M1. I mean, their F1 laser, make it happen. So I'm going to have to turn off the laser, turn it back on. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. All right. Now let's see if it connects this time. All right, it is now connected. We do have an update, firmware update. We're going to have to wait for that. Remind me in a couple of days. Cool. Okay, so we want to cut a little square out of this laser. Out of this blue acrylic. So I'm just going to go ahead and set it up real quick here. Let's click here, take rectangle, and let's set a tool path. There's one. And there's two. All right, let's center this so we can get a measurement. All right, so there's our work area. So now we need to get a distance measurement. And that's coming back to us at 15.6 millimeters. Okay, so now what we want to do is just find a shape. Let's find a little shape here. Let's grab, this little heart will do. All right, let's grab this heart. Let's make it tiny small because we don't want to waste a lot of the acrylic if we can. So we're going to go ahead and just run the power cut on this. Let's choose the material. So that's going to be blue acrylic. I don't know if that's the right one, but that's the one we have. Okay, so our power setting on that. We're going to set that at 100% power. Well, 95% power. And a speed of about 2. Yeah, 2. And we're also going to set the lower the focus 2 millimeters each pass, and we're going to do 2 passes on this So let me zoom in so you guys can kind of see what's going on here. Where is our little heart? There we go. You guys should be able to see that. Can you see that? Let me know if you can see that or not. Let's close that. And there's our little heart. So we're going to just go ahead and run it. Let's frame it first and see where it's falling. All right, so it's framing exactly where it needs to be. Something's in front of the camera. Let me move that out of the way. You guys can see. All right, so let's go ahead and run it. Let's see if it'll work. Let's see if it'll work, because I have used this acrylic before. So we're gonna go ahead and just run this real quick here, and let's see if it'll cut out this little heart that you guys see here. So let's just run it. Hit start. Let me hit the start button. Yeah, I knew I was gonna knock something over. All right, it's pass number 1, pass number 2, we're almost there. Yeah, I can tell you already that it did not cut all the way through. So let's try to run that again. Let me check this material first, because that says mirrored acrylic. So let me find, I'm just going to choose that one. And here, and cut. All right, so we got 100% power, speed of 2 passes. We're going to lower it. Let's go ahead and make this, let's make it 4 passes. See if it'll cut this material. And let's go ahead and hit our start button. All right, so this will be in total, because I set 4 and we did 2 before, so this will be 6 passes to see if it'll cut through this blue acrylic. I was walking down the street and someone asked me why I carry a 9-foot book. I said, it's a long story. Alan, cut it out. Cut it out, Alan. All right, let's see how many passes we've gone so far. We got a few more seconds left, about 45 seconds. Let's see if this is going to cut through. We're almost there. Almost there. We're almost there. All right, we have 7 seconds to go. 7 seconds to go. Count it down with me now. 3, 2, 1. It should be done. All right, let's check it. Let's check it. Woo! That is hot. That's hot. That's hot, man. Woo-wee. Yeah, that's hot, y'all. That's hot. That's hot. But it did not cut through it, but it's still hot. Let me grab something else I can push this through with. So, This blue acrylic is not going to make it. I can tell y'all right now, this blue acrylic is not going to make it. Let me see if I can push it through. Nope, but it is hot. But it did not go all the way through, so we're gonna have to give up on this blue acrylic. Blue is the same color as the laser light frequency, so that might be the problem. So, you know, now we know that is not gonna work. All right, let's find something else. I still don't know what Renee wants me to make. Renee, what do you want me to make? She's just talking to Alan. She's probably just so happy that she's even here tonight. You know, thank you, Renee, for popping in. But I still need something to create, or should I pick somebody else to choose something for me to create tonight? Maybe I should pick Alan. Alan, what do you have on your mind? Since Renee hasn't come up with any ideas for me to create anything. What about you, bro? What do you got for me? Oh, a sunflower. A sunflower. That's very imaginative. A sunflower. I just love it when y'all use y'all's imagination. I told you don't listen. You're right. I was busy doing things, okay? I was busy trying to get your acrylic that you sent over here to engrave, and it didn't work, okay, Renee? Okay? Anyway, let me find your sunflower before there's going to be some drama in this camp, okay? So let's before that R-man shows up, and then we got all kind of drama going on up in here. All my brain power is on my homework. I tried. You did your best, Renee. You did your best, but your best is not good enough. It's okay. It's okay. We're gonna work with you. So let me find a sunflower. So if I don't find a sunflower, it's gonna be some drama. So let me find. Let me find a sunflower. Doo-dum, doo-dum. Copy, doo-dum. Go over to the Googles and look for a sunflower, y'all. And let's see what we come up with. This should be an easy one. All right, let's see what we come up with. Sunflower. How about this one? Is that a PNG? No, of course not. But I can remove the background. Let's see if we got something else to choose from. Here's a sunflower. There's a good one. That one should work. Let's do this one. All right, let me save it. Let me save the sunflower. All right, so we got our sunflower saved. And let me pop back over here real quick. Let me check something real quick here. Just making sure everything's running where it's supposed to. Make sure we are on firing over on YouTube. Make sure everything is showing up on YouTube the right way. Yep, we're good on YouTube. For some reason, we're not showing up on Facebook tonight. That's weird. That's weird because it says that we're live, but it's not showing it on Facebook. I don't know. It says it's having trouble playing the video, whatever that means. All right, we ain't gonna worry about Facebook for tonight, so we're just gonna focus on what we got. All right, so let's go ahead and let's bring in Renee's sunflower. And let's get back over here to the desktop real quick. And where is Renee's sunflower? Where did it go? Where did it go? All right, let me drag this out for a second. And there's Renee's sunflower. Let's drag this in. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look how big it is. It is crazy big. Okay, so I got to make that smaller for sure. All right, let's just shrink this down real quick. See, you guys are learning something. Every single stream, I try to bring you guys something new. I try to teach you something every single stream. So, here we go. All right, so this is Renee's little sunflower, but we don't have very much acrylic to work with. Maybe we could do it on some wood. Let me see how much wood I have. I know Alan. I know Alan's gonna say, I know what Alan's gonna say. Alan's gonna say, but Rome, I told you to get more material. And I can say to you, Alan, yes, you did. Yes, you did. But I got busy doing stuff, and I got distracted. So I'm gonna blame Terry. Okay? It is completely Terry's fault because Terry distracted me talking about some apple something that she was making the other day, and I got distracted, and that's why I didn't do it. That's exactly my story, and I'm sticking to it. So if anybody asks why did Rome not order more material for the lasers, see Terry, because it's all Terry's fault. Okay, all right, let's get to it. All right, let's get back over to the desktop. Okie dokie. Am I even highlighting this laser? So if you guys, I forgot to even talk about the laser. So if you guys are not familiar with this laser, this is from our friends over at X-Tools. This is the X-Tool M1 Ultra. I completely forgot to introduce the laser because I got distracted again. Let me move some things around so I don't drop something off the desk that I need, because I am charging up this gimbal at the same time. All right, let me unplug it and show you guys this laser. So this is the X-Tool M1 Ultra. This is a 4-in-1 device. It has a print module. It has a pen module, which is a drawing module. It also comes with either a 10-watt or 20-watt laser. And it also comes with a cut module if you want to do like some vinyl for, the heat press and stuff like that. We have the X-Tool heat press, the full bundle. We have the mini press and the full press, all that kind of jazz. But anyway, this is the wood that we're probably going to be working with tonight. You guys can see this laser is an all-in-one unit with a nice little cover. Right now, this guy is $17.99. If you guys are interested in this guy, I am a huge fan. All right, so let's go ahead and measure our working area. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. So you guys saw me do this earlier. So I need to delete the original one and create a new one. And let's start so you guys will see how I do it. So I just move the laser head with the little crosshairs to the very corner of the material that we're going to be working with. And I can just hit this button right here. And then I'm going to move it to the next section area that I want to use on this wood. So we're not going to use the whole amount of wood. We're just going to go right there. And then I'm going to back this guy up. And then we're going to measure the thickness of the wood. So all we have to do now, let's switch back over here so you guys can see. If you're taking notes, now we can just click right here where it says end marking and done. And now you see the marking area right here. This is where we're going to be working inside of. And then I need to also measure the thickness of the material. So I'm going to go ahead and click right here. And this is currently, let's see what the amount is, 14.8 millimeters. 14.8 millimeters. Okay, so we're going to engrave this onto the wood, and then we're going to cut it out. So let's make this a little bit smaller. It doesn't have to be super huge. There we go. And let's take a look at our engraving settings. Let's go pick our material. So we're going to be using wood. I think this is the wood that we have right here. And our power settings is going to be 25 and 150 for engraving this, and then we also want to cut it out. So we're going to grab the little offset here, and let's make that smaller. It's a little bit tighter for Renee's sunflower. And there we go. All right, so let's go over and check. So the output for the cut, that's going to be our cut line. So we're going to set that at speed of 5. 90 is going to be our power. Speed is going to be 5. We're going to do 2 passes on that. And we're also going to let it lower 1 millimeter per rotation around. Okay, so let's also go to our engraving, which is going to be 25% power. I don't think that's enough. I'm going to bring that power up to at least 50% power, just because that wood is kind of dense. The speed is 150, pass 1 time. Bitmap mode is Jarvis, and we're going to run this at 120 centimeters, 120 lines per centimeter, and it's bi-directional. So let's go ahead and hit our framing to see exactly where this is going to fall on our laser, and then we're going to get this job started. All right, so let me hit the framing button. That is kind of small, but we'll work with it. We'll work with it. Okay, this is not going to be a big job. This should go pretty quick. So let's go ahead and run it. Y'all ready? Let's run it. And I'm going to hit start as soon as it pops up. There we go. There's our start button. Then I got to come back over here and press this other button. And now it's going to start to engrave onto the wood. So that's what we're seeing right now. It's engraving on the wood. Go! Renee says go. All right, Renee, your favorite product is next in the carousel. The shoe boxes, the shoebox organizers that I use for a lot of stuff under my desk. So while this is engraving, let me show you guys these boxes real quick. You guys should be able to see these plastic boxes that are down here underneath my desk. I have 3 on either side under the desk, and I use these for storing different things, you know, materials, gadgets, batteries, all of that kind of stuff. Now, most people would use these for shoes. I get it. That's the practical application for it. But you can actually get these here on Amazon right now for $35.99, guys. $35.99. Get yourself 6 of these plastic containers. These have the little magnetic doors that you can open and close. It's really nice. They all interlock well together. So you can put these in your garage, you can put these in your closet, you can put these in your, your mud room, like Kristen likes to say, your mud room. So you got a lot of places you can use those. All right. So I'm taking a look at what our laser's doing. Anyway, guys, you can get it for $35.99. $35.99. All right, let's see how that's coming out. I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it at all, so I'm going to go ahead and pause it, and I'm going to hit cancel because I don't think it has enough power for this type of wood. So I'm going to give it more power. And we're going to go back to the engraving, and I'm going to bring that power up to about 70 and bring the speed down a little bit. And now we're going to go ahead and run it again. And hopefully this time we'll get a better result. But this wood is very dense. This wood is very dense. All right, so while that's doing its thing, let's go ahead and talk about our next product. All right, let me go ahead and hit this button. Yeah, I'm not liking this wood at all. I'm going to tell y'all right now. I am not liking this wood at all. I had to take the phone out of the gimbal, and I need to find another gimbal, something to hold the phone. So while I do that, let's switch back over. But I'm not liking it. It's not engraving dark on this wood, so I'm gonna go ahead and cancel this. Yeah, I'm gonna cancel this because I'm not liking it on this wood. Yeah, I'm not liking a sunflower on that wood at all. All right, let me also find something to mount this phone in. All right, let me show you guys what I'm doing so you can see my monstrosity over here. So I need this phone as one of my cameras. So I have this little tripod right here, but I'm just gonna take the base off because I don't need the full length of this tripod. So I'm gonna take this little piece off right here, put that off to the side, and then I'm going to mount this little mini tripod on this phone holder. Okay, and let's go ahead and bring that down to about there. There we go. And then we're just going to rotate this around like so. And this is what we're going to use to hold the phone for the rest of the night. I'm just going to put the phone in there. And now we have a little mini kind of tripod that I can just, grab the phone and show you guys around. So let's test it. Yep, that still works. Well, it should work anyway. But anyway, yeah, I'm not feeling this material, this wood. I'll show you guys here. I'll get this a little bit closer. You guys can see it wasn't doing a lot on this wood. I mean, I can see it, but it needs more power. So let's try running it one more time and giving it a full amount of power for this wood and see if it does come out. You guys, you on board with that? Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. All right, let's go back over to our desktop real quick here. Well, Renee, you know how I am. I can't just be satisfied. I can't just be satisfied, babies. I gotta make it happen. So I'm gonna bring the power up. I'm gonna bring the speed to something that I like, maybe 120 on that. Okay, that looks good to me. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab both of these and I'm just gonna slide these over a little bit so we have some clean wood to work with. And everything looks good. Let's go back and frame it up again. Let's run the frame. Yeah, that still needs to be over just a touch, but I'll take care of that. All right, so while this gimbal's charging, I'm going to extend these legs so you guys can still kind of see what's going on here. Let's see if I can tilt that down a little bit. I'll put it up on top here in a second when I start the laser. But I'm gonna move this over a little bit. Right about there. And I'm gonna set, let me see if I can tilt this down for you guys. I don't know if this is gonna be high enough. I don't know if it's high enough. Hopefully you guys can see in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and start it. And I gave it more power. This wood is hard to work with. I'm telling y'all, this wood is dense. And I'm gonna go ahead and hit the start button. All right, so there we go. There we go. There we go. All right, so while that's doing its thing, yes, Renee. Yes, Renee. You always have to give me a hard time. I get it. I get it. I didn't think we were gonna make it through the night without Renee giving me a hard time or Richard coming in here with some drama. All right, so the next item in the carousel. Let me grab some of the components to show you guys. So I'm just gonna grab a few things while this thing is engraving. It's looking a little better. It's looking a little better. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it's getting there. It's getting there. All right, let me grab a few things here. Position this so you guys can see a little bit. So that's basically the process. What you guys are seeing here is what the laser does when it does this thing. When it do its thing, that's what it do. That's his thing that it be doing. All right, guys. So the next item up on the carousel is the Ozbot Talent with the tail airs. It is a bundle. Let's go ahead and go to the desktop here real quick, and I'll show you guys what we get. So in that bundle, you're going to get 3 of these Ozbot tail airs. These are PTZ cameras, which means pan, tilt, zoom. That means they can also do human tracking, pet tracking. You can set up presets with these. Now, what's nice about these units, guys, is that you can install an SD card into these guys and record internally 4K up to 60 frames a second. You have a micro HDMI input right here. You have your USB input here. And you also have your 3.5 if you wanted to connect a wired or wireless microphone to these. You can power these on, really simple. Just press and hold this little button right here. We're going to go ahead and turn this guy on. It should boot up here in just a second. You guys probably see the little power lights right here. Now, I have 2 of these in the studio right now. Originally, I had 3 of them, but I gifted one of these to one of my friends that was starting to create content. So you guys see I have 2 of these left now. But 2 is enough. 2 is enough in many situations. So I'm going to place this one up here on top of the laser. And then we're going to take this guy here and we're going to power this one on as well. So this will give us, we're going to have 3 cameras all together. Cool Cat Stuff is in the house. My man Chris is in the house. Yeah! What it do, Chris? What it do? All right, so we're going to power this one on as well. Everything's basically the same. You know, they do have a 1/4-20 underneath. If you want to mount this onto like a little tripod, monopod, something like that, you can. All right, so we're going to take this guy right here and place it somewhere else. Let's see if I can tilt it down and maybe get it to look down at the laser. And I'll show you guys first how I have everything set up real quick here. All right, so, oh no. Hold on. We're almost there. All right, so there we go. So we have one of these cameras set up here on top of the laser enclosure. We have the second one set right on the laser looking down into the work area. And then we have another camera here on my desk that we're going to turn on in just a second. But this camera does not come with the bundle. The bundle is going to include the Talent, 3 of these cameras, and also the remote that you guys see here on my desk, okay? So you get all of that in the bundle. Yes, your laser is cutting. So it's trying to cut out Renee's sunflower. It looks like it's done. I don't know how much that looks like a real sunflower down there, but we'll check that out here in a second. All right. All right, so the air should turn off here in a second. As soon as that does, that'll be good for us because, you know, it won't be as much noise. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to turn on our Ozbot Talent. Now, if you're not familiar with the Talent, it's a lot like some of the other devices I used to talk about before, like the YOLOBox Pro, the YOLOBox Mini, the InStream, similar style devices. This has 2 HDMI inputs. It has 1 USB-A input on this side. That is a 3.0. On this side, you have your Ethernet. You have your full-size SD card. You have your USB out. You have your 12-volt, 1.5 amp input here. Power cable comes with it. You can use these Sony MPF batteries as well. And on this side over here, you have another USB-A. You have a line in, mic in, headphone jack, and a power button. So let's go ahead and just power this guy on here real quick. And it should automatically connect to those cameras that I just showed you guys because we have it set up with SRT. That means they're going to connect to these cameras wirelessly. Let me move this around a little bit so you guys can kind of see it once it connects. All right, let me check. What do we got going on down here? Real talk, Rome is the reason I have my Ozbot cameras. Right on, bro, right on. Let's see. Renee says Ozbot is super. Yes, Ozbot is super. I see Joyful is over on YouTube. Welcome, Joyful. Welcome to the stream. I also see Francis and Family, which is Chris, is also over on YouTube as well. All right, so anyway, this is our Ozbot, and right now you guys can see I can click here, and this is going to jump right over to the camera view. So it's looking inside of the laser. You guys can see that. And then I can click on the other camera view, and it's going to show me right here on the screen as well. Remember, all of these are connected wirelessly. Now, I can control them all with this remote. The remote does come in the bundle. The entire bundle, everything included, is going to be $28.23. This little remote is super cool because you can control up to 3 cameras with this. You can also have 3 different presets for the cameras. You have a human tracking. You have a pet tracking. It also has this cool little laser. Let me show you guys here. It has this laser. Is this thing dead? I think it might be dead, y'all. No, don't be dead. Now I gotta power this thing somewhere. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let me grab a battery. See, y'all see what happens? Let me grab a battery, y'all. Let me grab a battery. I probably got one in the desk here. I got a cable. And I need a battery. Where are the batteries? Where are the batteries? Where did all the batteries go? I usually have like 5 batteries sitting on this desk. And why there's not an extra battery on this desk right now, I have no idea. All right, so I got to dig through this drawer. Okay, I'm going to give up on that. So let me just grab this other battery over here. Okay, I don't know where the other batteries went. So I'm just going to take this one off this phone real quick here. All right, so here's a battery. Here's one of those little portable batteries. And I'm going to use this to charge our remote. So you can carry these batteries with you guys in your backpacks, your purses, whatever it is. You guys see it just powered on right now. So we probably got power for our little laser. Yep, there's a little laser. But it needs to charge because I probably forgot to turn it off. But anyway, while this is on, you guys can see that, I can switch between the 2 cameras and I can control the cameras. Let's see if you guys can see that. So I can use the remote to control the camera. I can tilt up and down. I can pan left and right. I can also zoom in just using the remote, which comes in really handy. You know, if you're a 1-man or 1-woman band, this just gives you a lot of flexibility. You also have the ability to zoom in because you have a zoom rocker on here. So I can just, you know, zoom in on myself, on my big head, on my headphones, or I could zoom back out. You guys see how that works. All right, so all of those features, you know, you can control with this remote, including your tracking, your human tracking, pet tracking, all of that kind of stuff you can activate. And of course you have this gamer style joystick on here as well, which is super cool. All right, so let's just let that charge for a second. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this cable that I want to show you guys. Oh my goodness, my desk is a mess. My desk is a mess, y'all. I didn't even try to clean up before this stream. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this cable. All right, so here's the cable that I'm talking about. It's here on my desk. We have the U-Green UVC to HDMI cable, and then we have the U-Green full HDMI capture card. Okay, so I have that connected to this little hub right here. And when I do my little demo later with my drone out, this is the cable that I'm connecting to everything. So if you guys are curious about that, when I'm talking about the cable that I need to connect everything, this is the cable I'm talking about. You can get yourself one of these, especially if you're a gamer, or maybe you want to connect a camera to a monitor, or a computer to a camera or a game or something like that to a monitor, or to your television, using the capture card is a win. So these two cards right here, one is the HDMI male, the other one is the full HDMI female, and then this ends with a USB-C on this end and also a USB-C on that end as well. So that's what we got. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and set up this other camera and turn this guy on as well, which is this camera right here on my desk. Now, this is the newest Ozbot to the family. This is the Ozbot Tail 2. This is their newest PTZ-R camera. Now, these are PTZ cameras. That means they can pan, tilt, and zoom. This camera has one more extra feature, which is the R. The R means that it can actually rotate. And it can rotate without having to physically move the camera or turn the camera if you wanted to stream to something like Instagram or TikTok. So normally, if I wanted to stream to one of those, I have another PTZ camera that I would normally use, and that would be this PTZ camera that you guys see back here. This is from our friends over at YOLO Live. This is designed to connect to the YOLO Live in-stream. So it's already in that portrait orientation. This one can switch between portrait and landscape by just using the smartphone app. This has a 5x optical zoom built into this guy. Super cool, super cool. A lot of features. As far as the connectivity, different than the first one we looked at. Let me show you guys this really quickly here. On the back here, you guys can see how you connect to this camera. You have your line in, your mic in, you have a full-size HDMI right here. You have your RS-232s for controlling this with a PTZ controller. You have an SDI connection here. You have a full Ethernet connection here as well, and that's power over Ethernet. And you also have two USB-Cs right here. Those can be used for power and also for a UVC, connecting it to a computer or something like that. Now, I do have this guy also connected wirelessly using SRT. Of course, you can use NDI as well. So here is the talent. I just moved it over here, near here, just to give some room on the desk. But now we can go back over to the talent, and we can switch between these different camera angles. So this camera right here should be this camera right here. This on my desk. This one here. This little guy is now looking down at the laser. And then this one right here, all wireless, is this guy up here, which is just kind of looking at me from that angle. So the whole setup, guys, is all wireless. Okay, so the advantage to this is you can take these cameras any place. You could use these for a conference, for Comic-Con. You could use them for family adventures, podcasts, live streams, for your church, your school, whatever the case it may be. I'm telling you, man, Ozbot is not playing around, guys. They came to slay. Okay, their cameras have been just state of the art for a long time. I've been using their cameras. I can't even remember when I got the first one, but here's another Ozbot camera right here. This is the Ozbot Meet AI camera that I use as my top-down desk camera, and I've been using this thing right here for over 3 years. They have a newer version of it out now, but I'm telling you, this one still works like a champ. So, it is an investment to purchase some of these cameras, but I'm telling you, you're going to be very happy with the picture quality, the video quality, the tracking capabilities, all of that. And as you guys see, now that I turned the other camera on, the remote is now acknowledging the third camera. So now I can use this controller to control this camera. I can use it to zoom in. I can use it to pan, tilt, all of that kind of cool jazz. So yeah, You know, you can take these anywhere you want to. Now, another cool thing that you can take a look at. Now, this camera right here, just in case you didn't know, the Osbot Tail 2 is currently $1,259. And when we looked at the bundle for the Osbot Talent with the tail airs, it is $2,823. Yes, Osbot did send me all these cameras, but, you know, of course, you know, for me to be able to demo these cameras for you guys and create content, you know, I was just the other day, I was in my backyard flying one of my drones and I was live streaming using the Talent and, if I'm not mistaken, this camera here. And I think one of these PTZ cameras, I don't remember which cameras I had set up, but I was using them. Now, you know, I understand that's somewhat of an investment, but another class of cameras that you can take a look at from Osbot are the smaller little PTZ cameras. Now, this is the Osbot Tiny SE. This is a 1080p PTZ camera. It has a lot of the similar features, except it does not record internally. So you would have to connect that to, you know, a computer or tablet or, you know, something like a device like this using cables, because you can't use, you know, you can't use that wirelessly. Okay. Now, currently, this little guy right here is $99. There is a upgraded version of that, which is the Osbot Tiny 2 Lite. Let me show you guys that one. It is around here somewhere. But where did it go? I don't know where it went. It's my desk. Oh, there it is. I got it. So this is the Osbot Tiny 2 Lite. And the way you can tell the difference is the Tiny 2 Lite has the little red ring around it. That means that's the 4K version. And this one here is the 1080p version. So, but they're almost identical other than their resolution. So a lot of the features and stuff like that you're going to find are going to be very, very much the same. They're small, they're compact, they're going to be travel friendly, and especially in comparison to a camera like this. Look at the size difference. Look at the size difference between this camera and this one, or even this camera and that one. Okay, so that is a huge size difference in these cameras, guys. So like I said, it just really depends on, you know, what your setup is, what you need these cameras for, you know, the whole 9 yards. So just, hey, y'all tell me, you tell me, which of these cameras are you guys most interested in? Which of these would, you know, be something that you would use? Into the world. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, that's a few of the models from Osbot. Now, Osbot is not the only cameras that I use. Here's another camera that I use on a regular basis, which is this guy right here. This is the Osmo Pocket 3. Let me bring this over to the desk as well so you guys can get a better look at it. So this is the Osmo Pocket 3. Now, of course, this one is a little bit taller. It is also a PTZ camera. Where this one differs is that it does have its own built-in screen. It has a lot of the same tracking capabilities. There is no wireless for this guy. There's no NDI or anything like that. So you will have to physically connect this to whatever it is you're going to be, you know, working with, unless you're using some type of HDMI transmitters. You know, we've talked about those here on the stream many times. Now, if you're interested in the Osmo Pocket 3, it is currently $979. It does come with a Bluetooth microphone. So this is the DJI Mic 2. This is a little Bluetooth microphone, and it pairs up with the camera. I just have it connected on the back of it right now using these magnets, but this is what the microphone looks like. Now, what's cool about the microphone, you can either get it by itself like this, or you can get the bundle where it comes with 2 of these microphones and also a receiver, and that's going to make it much easier, especially if you're going to be using this with, you know, multiple guests or something like that. But like I said, I just mounted on here. This little cage right here, I have this listed in the carousel as well. This is just a little plastic cage that makes it really easy for me to mount things. It has a magnet on the back. It also has your little GoPro mounts. And of course, I put a little tripod on here. Just makes it easy to set it up on the desk. So $979 for this guy with the microphone. So definitely check it out. The little cage that you see here, the little you know, the little utility cage you can get here on Amazon for only $7.49. So there's some savings. Now, when it comes to microphones, you guys know I talk about a lot of these different microphones. I love the microphone for this little camera. You can pair it up, you know, again with your phone or tablets and things like that. But most things you're going to connect this microphone to, you will need the receiver. There are a few things that you can use the Bluetooth for this one, and it works out perfectly. But here's another set of microphones. Let me show you guys real quick here. Now, these are from our friends over at Anker. These are our Anker M650 wireless microphones. This bundle is currently only $199. And in this bundle, guys, you actually get two omnidirectional microphones. You get the receiver. The case itself is a charger case. So this is going to charge the microphone, the receiver. You also get the adapters for iPhone and the older iPhones, like the Lightning iPhone adapter. And it also comes with the USB adapter. Let me show you guys what that looks like. So here is the receiver. You guys can see the little USB adapter on there. Now, of course, it does have your 3.5. So if you want to use the cable, you can use that to connect to whatever you want to. The cable looks just like this. So you could plug that into one of these microphones, or you could plug it directly into the Talent. You could plug it into a computer or whatever you want to use this with. I mean, that's you know, an option as well. But, you know, a lot of times when I'm using this with my phone or something, I just plug this into the USB input. My older iPhone, like this guy over here, I would use the Lightning adapter. Now, it comes with two microphones. They're omnidirectional microphones. These do have internal recording as well. So you could literally take one of these little microphones out with you if you were doing like some news gathering, and you could just do an interview with someone just with the microphone, because they're really that good. You can connect a lavalier mic to this, or a wired shotgun mic or something like that. So there's a lot of different ways you can use this. The clips on here uses these magnetic. Let me show you guys here. Give me a second to set this phone down. So these, oops, I'm just dropping stuff. Okay. So you guys can see here the little clips on here. These come off. These are connected with like the little rare earth magnets. And what's cool about that is, you know, obviously it'll make it really easy for mounting this on a shirt or jacket or vest or something like that. And then everything just fits right back in this little case. Just line it up, drop it in, and it automatically starts to charge. These need to be charged as well. As you guys see, it's a whole bunch of stuff in my studio today that needs to be charged. So everything needs to be charged. I haven't charged anything in a while, so y'all already know. But anyway, that microphone kit, guys, right now is $199.99. Now, you do have some other options as well for audio. Let me show you another option. Check this out. So normally I use this Rodecaster Pro 2, okay? And I use this microphone that you guys see here. This is the Rode Procaster. That's my daily driver for a microphone. This is my audio interface, but you can see this guy is big. So if we're trying to stay minimalistic, you know, we want to carry with these, we want to go out with these small cameras. We want to go out with something like the Talent or some of the other gear we saw back there. Here's another option for you. This is a device from Livestream. This is an audio interface. This is only $79. You can only connect one microphone to it, but you can connect one XLR microphone just like this here. You can also connect an instrument to this. On the front, you can connect USB devices. You can also connect your headphones. You can connect a few other devices on here as well. So yeah, it's a win. And you have all of your volume controls on this guy as well, you know, for the different levels. And what's nice about this is battery powered, okay? So that means you can just press this little purple button, power this guy up. Let me see if I can do it for you guys here real quick. And you can power this guy on, as you guys can see, and connect your microphones to this, connect this to your Talent, your phone, connect it to a computer, whatever the case is going to be. You're going to have gain controls on all of your different inputs coming in, including even phones if you want to connect to this and use them like a phone to play music or something like that. You have all of those right here. You can plug in a set of headphones right here so you can listen to yourself like I do. I don't know how much of a delay is on this guy because I haven't actually used this one out in the field, but I've used similar things to this. You have, you have your ducker on here. You have your voice remover. You also have, an effect mode like for your instruments and all of that. So it's a really nice little, piece of kit for it to be so budget friendly. So it's only $79, $79. All right, let me power this guy off and put it away as well. We need to go over and take a look at Renee's flower. But before we do that, I need to turn everything else off because you guys know I forget to charge everything. All right, so let's power off all of these cameras. Let's power off all of these cameras because if I don't do it now, I will completely forget. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I will completely forget. So let's power this guy off. Let's power this guy off. There we go. And let's power this guy off. There we go. All right. And the only thing we got left to do is to power off our talent here. Hold on. And power off. All right. That's shutting down. Put that over there, back there somewhere. All right. Let's move these cameras to a safer environment where they don't get knocked over. All right, there we go. We are done. Oh, shoot. See, this is why I got to charge this thing because I always forget to turn this thing off. So I'm going to turn that off and let it charge on that battery. We're just going to leave that on the desk. Okay. All right, what do we got next? What do we got next other than Renee's flower? So let's get to that. Okay, let me go. I'm going to skip a couple of things because I want to show you guys something else. All right, so the next thing that we're going to take a look at really quickly here is this battery back here. Whoops, wait a minute. That's not it. Where is the battery? Oh, what did I do with it? There it is. Is this battery right here. This is from our friends over at Blue Yeti. So this is the AC2A. So this will provide AC and DC power. You can charge this with a universal AC plug right here. It has a little grounding plug over here as well. On the front here, you have your button selectors. So you have your power button. You also have AC power. You have DC power. You can place your standard DC 12 volt in here like you would normally have like for a cigarette lighter. That one's here. You have your other input here if you wanted to charge this, say for instance, from a solar panel. You got that. DC's here. You have one USB-C right here. That's 100 watts. You have two USB-A's. Those are both 5 volts on each one of those. And then you have these 120 volt AC plugs here, which equals 300 watts on this guy. It has an integrated handle. Makes it really easy for transporting it. Very lightweight, as you guys can see. Has a nice little rubberized feet underneath here. So this is going to be a great little portable 300 watt battery. And currently, guys, this battery is only $139. All right, so let's put this guy back here. Hold on. Let's set this camera down for a second. When I don't have my gimbal, I am completely at loss. All right, so let's put this guy back here. I'm gonna stack this one on top of the other battery. There we go. All right, so we have both of the Blue Yeti batteries now back on the desk. Both of those are 300 watts. The lower one I've had for a long time. The one on top is the one we just recently received that has the new battery in it. All right, so since we're talking about batteries and we can go ahead and get through all of these batteries, we have one more battery we're going to talk about really quickly here, and that is the battery that is inside of this backpack that you guys see here. This is the Blue Yeti's Hands-Free 1. It is a backpack with a battery built into it. I'm going to grab it here in a second and show you guys exactly what comes inside of it. So let me go ahead and switch over here real quick. All right, let me grab this backpack because I plan on flying this drone simulator here in just a second. And I think that's the next thing that comes up in our carousel. All right, so this is the Hands-Free 1 backpack from Blue Yeti. As you guys can see, you have a lot of storage potential right here in the front. It has two internal sections. The battery itself is housed in the back of it. You guys can see that back here, as well as you have your AC and DC power. Well, this is DC and this is AC power on this side right here. I use this a lot for like photography for my drones. Show you guys here. I have this preform cutout material for the drone, the controller, the battery, charger, all of that stuff fits in here. So I love this backpack. Right now, guys, you can get this backpack with the 300-watt battery for only $299. Yes, Renee, $299 for this backpack with a 300-watt battery inside of it, which is amazing. Yes, it is. All right. Let's put that down there. That is fantastic, Renee says. Yes. Okay. So you guys have already seen me quite a few times talk about my drone, the drone that I fly commercially, which is my Air 3S. Let me get it. That would be this drone right here. This is the DJI Air 3S. This drone can fly up to about 60 miles an hour, 4K video, 60 frames a second. It can also do slow motion, 120 frames a second. This thing is just a beast, guys. It's got two cameras. It has a 70mm camera, has a 24mm camera, 1-inch sensor on this guy. It's just a beast, okay? Now, mine came with the Fly More combo. So you actually get 3 batteries. You get the charger. So let me grab that real quick. So here is the charger that comes with it. You get 3 batteries. This is a smart charger. And what makes it smart, let's say you've been out flying all day and you run down all 3 batteries. You can put the batteries back in the charger. And what they'll do is they'll transfer the remaining power to whichever battery has the most power. And then that way you might be able to get one more flight out of your drone for the day. So, that's really, cute that DJI has that type of technology built into these drones. I'm a huge fan. Now, what we're going to experiment with tonight is drone related. So I need to find my controller. So this is the controller that comes with the drone. This is the DJI RC2. This little cover that you see on here does not come with the drone. That's from another company called Start RC. They actually make these screen protectors. So I just, keep something like that on in case something falls on the controller to protect the screen. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to set this guy up. So let's go over to the desktop. Let me see if I can clean up this desktop a little bit. Let's go to our top down. All right, so here is our controller. We have the 2 joysticks. We have our power button. We have our speed mode. We have our 5.5-inch screen here. We have 2 programmable buttons on the back. We also have our photo button, our video button. We have our zoom button here, and also our tilt button wheel here for controlling the drone. It has the 4 antennas, 2 internal, 2 external antennas. But what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to actually connect this drone to the computer, and I'm going to show you guys the simulator the simulator that they just gave us a couple of days ago as an additional firmware update. So now you can practice flying your drone without actually flying your drone, which is super cool. So the cables that we were talking about earlier, remember those cables we were talking about? Those cables are what makes this possible. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this USB-C cable in to the bottom of the controller right here at the bottom. And then we're just going to go ahead and hit the power button one time and then press and hold and turn it on. All right, so this is going to power up our controller. And I'm going to switch over to the full screen. You guys will be able to see you'll be able to see the drone in flight or the simulator in flight in just a second. We're just waiting for everything to connect here. But this would be the same if I was using the same cable to connect this to a monitor or to something like the the Ozbot Talent or whatever device it is. Okay, so we're pretty much ready to go. So all I got to do is click right here on simulator and we could go into the simulator mode. But before I do that, let me switch over to our drone video input. All right, why are we not seeing our drone? Give me a second. Let me... Okay, it might have to restart the drone. Yeah, I'm gonna have to restart the drone. So give me a second. Let me turn the drone off. I mean the controller off. Because you have to get it just right where the computer can see it. Let's try it again. And see if it connects this time. Now this was working perfectly earlier, so all right, there we go. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting to see if the screen was going to go black. So that's a good indicator right there. So now as the controller comes up, you guys are going to be able to see the controller on the screen. There we go. All right, so now I can just click on the DJI simulator, and then it's going to log into the simulator. And I'm just going to go to this immersive flight, and I'm going to choose Go Fly. And I'm going to place our drone on the ground, and then I'm going to go ahead and take off. So you guys can see what this looks like. So now I can take off. And right now we're at about 25 feet. Getting up a little closer. Let's get it up to about 50 feet. That's pretty good. So now we can fly forward over some of these buildings, and we can turn and look around whatever's around us inside of this little mini city. And we can also switch the camera into the downward mode so we can actually see the streets. We can see the cars going by down there. We could fly along a street as a path. So this is basically to teach you, stick control, how to control the different functions of the drone, how to turn, how to orbit, all different types of things like that. Now, they don't have a lot of features built into this yet, but I can see in the firmware where there's going to be additional things that's going to be added to it. So right now I'm just flying along this street, just showing you guys the downward view. But then again, I can just press this button right here and tilt the camera back up, and then I can move over, rotate in a different direction. Let's say we see something that we want to take a closer look at, maybe this sign on this building. I'm going to lower the altitude of the drone, then I'm going to fly forward, let you guys see that sign. I'm just going to kind of bring it in a little bit closer. There we go, a little bit closer to the storage sign right here. And then I'm going to orbit around it just a little bit, just so you guys can see the building a little bit better. I'm going to go up a little bit so I don't crash into that other building, and I'm going to just rotate around past that. And let's see what else can we see here in the city. So let's fly over and land on one of these buildings. And so we could go here. Let's rotate around a little bit. And let's go off to the side. And then we're going to go down toward the street level so we can get a good look at what's down here on the street level. Here's a little building. Now, of course, we can use our controls where we can zoom in, and we can still tilt down just a little bit if we wanted to. We can go back up. You know, right now we're only about 12 feet off the ground, but you guys get the idea. But I can zoom in and out with the camera. And if I was taking photos or videos, you know, this would be ideal for something like that. Or I could go back up, and then I could tilt the camera downward, and I could take a shot, you know, maybe if I was doing this for a real estate, photo shoot or something like that. So just to give you an idea of some of the cool things you can do with these drones. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go over here, and we're going to actually try to land on top of this building. So I'm going to adjust this over a little bit. I'm going to turn our camera downward. We're going to move forward over top of the building. And then we're going to start lowering ourselves down onto the building, trying to make sure we don't hit anything. Now the drone does have obstacle avoidance, so it probably will not crash into anything. So we just want to bring this down as far as we can, and it's just going to automatically land on the building. So we have landed now on top of the building. And if we want to take off again, it's the same thing. We're just going to pull both of our joysticks in. It's going to spool up the drone, and now I can take off again. And then I can fly around some of these buildings. I can fly down some of these streets just to see what's going on. Now, this would be the same if you were out in the wilderness, you know, flying around. You guys see that fence that just popped up? That's a geo fence, so it doesn't allow us to fly past that. So hopefully, as they update this software, we'll be able to fly in more places. Now, you can still fly really high, so you can still get up to your 400 feet, I think, before you hit another geo fence going vertical. But you guys get the idea. So we can rotate around here again, look at the buildings. We can also get a good idea of where our return to home is, so we can see where we launched from. So right here forward, if we fly forward, we can see our return to home, and you can see the little robot that's down there. So let's lower the drone down a little bit. This is actually where we took off from. So let's line this up a little bit better. And let's fly forward toward our robot. There we go. There's a robot right there. We can turn the camera downward so we can look. All right, so we want to land right around here somewhere. Let's move this over a little bit. I was able to crash this earlier. I never thought I'd be able to crash it because I actually crashed into the robot, but that was kind of funny. I wish I'd have been recording it. All right, so let's go ahead and land right next to our robot. Let's move that forward just a touch. And let's go ahead and go down. And we're going to land it. Now, of course, you do have the option to do return to home, just like you would with a normal drone flight. So if we go back up real quick here, I can take off, and then I can turn the drone around in the direction that I would normally be flying. So let's say we were to fly somewhere out here, and we'll go up over these buildings. And let's go back here a little bit. And let's go up a little bit higher. Okay, that's as far as we can go. So now we can just turn this around. So now what we want the drone to do is to land itself. So I'm just going to click here where it says return to home. I'm going to hold down the return to home button, and we're going to let the drone land itself. And this is very, very similar to my experience flying the Air 3S and some of the other DJI drones that I own. You know, they have the return to home. They have so many built-in features. So if you guys are looking for a high-quality drone for recreational or for commercial purposes, guys, you definitely might want to take a look at one of these guys. I mean, I have been so impressed with these drones. I feel so confident when I go out to fly because it has so many built-in safeguards. I just don't worry about it, you know, crashing into things. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but the likelihood of it, if you have everything set up properly, you're most likely not going to encounter something like that. All right, so that is our DJI Air 3S drone and also the controller, and we were able to connect the controller and everything to the computer tonight, and I could demo the simulator that is now installed on the RC2 controller. So if you guys, want to learn how to fly, you don't feel comfortable yet, putting the drone in the air, or you don't have an open space on a regular basis to be able to fly your drone, having a drone simulator, whether you're flying a traditional drone or an FPV drone, is a win. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and put that guy away. All right. I think I only have one thing left in the carousel before we get ready to wrap it up. So we do have the iPhone 16 Pro Max, which is this guy right here. This is the newest iPhone to date. This one does have the new camera button that you guys see right here. So I can just, double tap this real quick and it'll open the camera. Of course, you can use it in so many different ways, video, portrait, panoramic, all of those, cool features. You can also tap it lightly and you can switch between the different cameras. You can switch the direction of the camera. I like this little button. I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't use it that much. This variation of the camera does have the 256 gigabytes of storage. This just became my daily driver. This is the one I use every single day, for phone calls, emails, some video, some photos, stuff like that. Now, this case that you see here is from our friends over at ESR. If you guys are familiar with ESR, they make a ton of different types of cases. I love these cases because they have this built-in little ring here that can also double as a phone stand. So the case itself is a very rugged. It is a MagSafe case, so it will work with all of your MagSafe devices, your chargers, all of that kind of stuff. You have the cutout for the photo button. You have all of the other buttons, but they are covered and protected. Even the USB-C underneath here is also protected. It's not waterproof, by any means, but it does protect all of the, components of the phone. So if you're going to invest in a phone like this, right now this phone, depending on which variation you go with, it's going to be, north of $1,000. So you definitely want to make sure you're getting, a lot of protection for it because you want to, protect your investment. That's all I'm saying. So definitely check this guy out. You guys know I have a bunch of iPhones. I use them every single day. So in a nutshell, I use 3 different iPhones during my streams. I have the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which is this iPhone right here that I use to control the stream. I have the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is usually the iPhone that I use to show you guys around, the studio. This is the one that I switched to, as a video camera, alternate. It's connected to my MacBook. And then, of course, we have this new iPhone, which is the iPhone 16 Pro Max, so there you go. iPhones for everyone. iPhones for everyone. Everywhere you look, there's an iPhone. All right, so that's about it. So hopefully everybody enjoyed tonight's stream. You learned something. Maybe you enjoyed watching me fly the simulator. If you'd like me to do more stuff like that, let me know. Hit me up on social media. Hit me up on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all them places. Let me know. I will do more simulators. Like whenever we get more, they upgrade or update the simulator software, I will, come back and, fly the drone and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys like that kind of, content, let me know. I will make it a part of our everyday live streams and all that kind of jazz. I was trying to figure out what is going on with the backpack, and I remembered that my vacuum attacks this backpack literally every day. I leave this one in here on the floor in the studio, and because it has these little drawstrings on here, the vacuum will come over and get tangled up on it, and then I got to come save the vacuum every single day. So I'm gonna start putting this backpack over here on top of this desk from now on. But anyway, for those who might not know what I'm talking about, these are drawstring backpacks, guys, that you can buy right here on Amazon. My Motorcycle Club and I bought a bunch of these a long time ago, and we did have some silk screening done on here. That B4H stands for Bikers for the Homeless. So what we would do is we would buy a bunch of items right here on Amazon. We buy toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo, conditioner, hand sanitizer, Band-Aids, pens, pencils, socks, underwear, toilet paper, all that jazz. Anything that we felt like someone homeless could be able to benefit from, we would buy it in abundance and, fill these backpacks and donate these items directly to them free of charge. So if we're out and about driving around, living our lives, and we run into someone that, has a sign up saying they're looking for help, they're looking for food, they're looking for a job, we'll just hand them one of these bags and just get on down the road. So I do encourage you guys to do something similar in your own communities. Maybe you in a blessed community where there are no homeless people, and that is a wonderful thing. But even if that is the case, you can still donate these items to maybe a city nearby or another, municipality that does have, people that are, unsheltered. and you can donate your items directly to them through your church, through your HOA, through whatever organizations, your school, whatever it is you want to get people organized and get them in motion, get them excited about doing good in the world. I know you guys have a good heart, so I can see it. I can see it. You guys can make this happen. All right, my man Alan is dropping 888. I dropped that 444. If you guys don't know what that means, those are angel numbers. So all you got to do is Google them. These are numbers that we see throughout our day. You know, maybe you'll see it watching television. Maybe you'll look at your phone all of a sudden and you will see one of those sequential numbers on your phone, in your car, whatever the case it may be. Renee just said her number today was 555, and you can Google the meaning of those numbers, because a lot of people believe that is the universe speaking to you, the universe sending a message directly to you. So you don't want to reproduce, you don't want to repost someone else's numbers, or you don't want to, you want your own numbers is what I'm trying to get at. So if you're seeing these numbers for real in your world, in your life, as you go on through your day, that is the universe speaking to you, okay? And that's what you want to know, what those numbers represent. All right, y'all, so it's time for me to wrap it up for the night. Time for me to go make some dinner, babies. Make some dinner, babies. All right, you see Smokey's already pacing around. He's already... He's ready for me to get off this live. He's like, what is taking so long, Dad? What's happening? What's popping? What's crack-a-lacking? He's right back here. There he is. He just came in here just to tell me to get it over with. He's like, get it gone. All right, Smokey, you know what time it is. Time for me to do that thing. Let's go. All right, guys, I'd like to thank you one and all for stopping in and hanging out with us tonight. Whether you're watching over on YouTube, Facebook, if you're watching here on Amazon, over on TikTok, wherever the case it may be, I want to thank you one and all, and I look forward to seeing you guys right back here, 7 p.m. on Saturday night. I'll be right back here on Saturday night. Hopefully we'll have some new products in. We'll also be talking about some of the things that we've already talked about. We'll be doing some more laser stuff. Oh my goodness, what is wrong with me? I forgot all about Renee's flower. Let's get it. Come on, y'all, because I would never hear the end of this. If I don't show this flower. So let me let me get this flower, y'all. Hold on. All right, let me get it. All right. Like I said, I was not a fan of this wood to start with. But anyway, here is Renee's little flower. You guys can see that. That's how it came out. It looks almost like a little palm tree to me. This is not good wood for, this type of engraving. It just did not do well. But, there you go. That's what we got. That's what we got, Renee. That's what we did. Okay. So we need some new materials. We need some new materials here in the studio. But anyway, yeah. So y'all already know. All right, my babies, it's time for me to wrap it up for the night. Y'all know how we do. Time for me to say the magic words: peace, and blue muffin grease. I am out. Boom, my babies. I am out of here. Love y'all, but I got to go. Peace. I'm out.